Do you have questions about real estate contracts, legal jargon, or real estate transactions in general? Welcome to Ask the Attorney. I'm Jeff Hernandez, licensed attorney and realtor with the Connie Colla Group at RETSY, a Forbes Global Properties partner. Every week I'll be answering questions from the perspective of a licensed attorney and a realtor relating to real estate transactions to help you along the way and to hopefully assist you in avoiding potential pitfalls in any real estate deals. Let's take a look at today's question. Is the housing market crashing or is it correcting? If you've been following the news lately, you've heard a lot about the current housing market conditions. The main questions I get these days revolve around whether the market is crashing or if it's correcting. Here's what you need to know. The housing market is changing compared to the last 2 years. However, what we need to remember is that the past 2 years were record-breaking in nearly every way. We had low mortgage rates and we had millennials reaching peak home buying years, which significantly increased buyer demand. At the same time, there weren't enough homes available to purchase thanks to many years of underbuilding and sellers who held off on listing their homes due to the health crisis. This combination led to record high demand and record low supply, and that wasn't going to be sustainable for the long term. The latest data shows early signs of a shift back to the market pace seen in the years leading up to the pandemic, not a crash nor a correction. Let's talk about home showings then and now. The Showing Time Showing Index tracks the traffic of home showings according to agents and brokers. It's a good indication of buyer demand. Here's a look at that data going back to 2019. The 2019 statistics provide a good baseline of demand before the pandemic, as is shown in the gray. As you can see from the graph, home showings skyrocketed during the pandemic, which is shown in blue. And while current buyer demand recently began to moderate slightly based on the latest data, shown in green, recent showings are still above 2019 levels. Now, since 2019 was such a strong year for the housing market, this helps show that the market isn't crashing, it's simply at a turning point that's moving back toward pre-pandemic levels. Let's take a look at existing home sales going all the way back to 2019 using data from the National Association of Realtors. Again, looking at this graph, a similar story emerges. The pandemic numbers, shown in blue, beat the more typical year of 2019 home sales, shown in gray. And according to the latest projections for 2022, shown in green, the market is on pace to close out this year with more home sales than 2019 as well. It's important to compare today not to the abnormal pandemic years, but to the most recent normal year to show the current housing market is still strong. So what we have is today's housing market looking a lot like the 2019 housing market, which was the strongest housing market in a decade at that time. So here's the bottom line. If recent headlines are causing any concerns, take a look at a more typical year like 2019 for perspective. What we're experiencing now is not a crash or correction, it's just a turning point toward more typical pre-pandemic levels. So let's connect if you have any questions about our local market and what it means for you if you buy or sell this year. If you have any questions you'd like me to address, drop them in the comments section and I'll be sure to answer those questions in future videos. Thank you for joining us on Ask the Attorney with Jeff Hernandez. See you next time.